After all those nice things I said about myself.
Yeah.
To my lover's lover, we are the same, you and I. As we hide our hearts under capes of righteous rage, allow him to create this battle around him, pretend we are each other's enemies, remember, it is not as easy to hate us as he makes it look. Just ask any woman. We are not near the end, and our bodies do not remember the beginning. This is what our daughters, our granddaughters, he is what we are up against. He is a speck in the weight of worlds on my hips to my lover's lover. Once we held hands, raked the clouds with our fingertips. You once painted sunsets with your tongue, and now we are bottom feeders, relegated to where he's left us, grateful for the scraps he leaves for us. Our skeletons have grown smaller, denser. The space between us has grown. We've convinced ourselves that we can survive alone. But your ire and my ire is dust. I have a body that has held up oceans for millennia. My bones are not brittle. Though once willowy and waif-like, I once stretched to new worlds, and now I hold ours up. To my lover's lover, I am not the enemy. Regardless of whose bed he leaves empty tonight, I will try to remember that you are not my enemy. Try to remember that your aching heart is my aching heart. Your empty hands are my empty hands. Your weeping when he chooses me is my weeping when he chooses you. My body aches to hold you in an ancient way. Unlike the newborn way, it longs to be held by him the nights he is wrapped in your sheets, in the way I descended from water. That we emerged out of stardust, you are the genesis I am reminded of in my daughter's blood. You have never been my enemy. Even though it has been centuries of him whispering otherwise in my ears, my body has always known how to sway oceans. He just never thought to ask how. Thought teaching me to forget was the same as never knowing, and trust me, it isn't. My bed is empty tonight. And the rage that you bottled and left on my doorstep reminds me why, but still. You were never my enemy. Thank you. So what I've learned is you have to be careful about what you write and what you perform, because poems are spells. That poem was written about a hypothetical that I was lucky enough to live through a few years later. So you have to, I'm not too freaked out anymore because everything I've written has already happened. So now we just get to ride the waves. I am really good at making people love me. Just a little less so at letting them. Close. Letting people get too close so often feels like a vice. Feels like walls closing in. It scares me how deeply I can love so many. How quickly all my time becomes others. To remedy this, I keep others at a distance. I keep a professional gap between me and the other. Truthfully, I prefer the stage. I prefer letting others know me through the stage. It's a boundary that makes sense to me. An honesty that is real and finite and contained. A tourniquet that allows me to stop the bleeding and get some sleep. I savor my solitude, savor my alone. As others say, you must be lonely, and as a true student of improv, my response is always, yes. And I am not afraid of my lonely. I know no other way to get to the heart of it than by diving deep into the heart of myself. Who am I in the moments no one is watching? Is any of this of any worth if you don't know the one who's experiencing it? Is powdered sugar and reality shows enough to make a life? Learning to be lonely, to be alone. Learning to trust that if you let go of all that you were reaching for, all that you were running from, all that you were hanging on to, that you'll still matter, that you'll still have matter, that we are not the sum of the parts we're most afraid of, that we can be brave enough to let go of the edge and trust that it is not what gives us form. I know why you're afraid, why you keep scrolling and texting and going for beers. I know why you keep your fridge full, your TV on, and your status updated. I know because I am too. I am just as afraid. But I do have moments where I hear the wolf howling, where I choose stillness over working late, over grabbing a drink. It's scary, but that's not necessarily bad. Scary means movement, means running, means exercise for no reason. I understand. But most of our fear most of our fear of alone is just our fear of looking alone, being seen alone. Hence all the movement, all the running, all the places we have to be, all the phone calls we have to make. Busy lives mean we're living, that we mean something. Busy lives mean others can see us. But once you've seen yourself, it matters a whole lot less whether or not others can see you and what it is they're seeing. I've done it. I have met my alone. It wasn't easy. Being a woman lonely. Knowing yourself well enough to let go of explanation, defense, and instead come face to face with anticlimactic understanding. It's a letting go of what you're told to want, of how to know you're wanted or loved, of what your mom wants for you. It's an unbuckling, a delayering, a handing back of people's wants for you. They want you to be happy, sure, but first and foremost, they want to understand you, put you in a box. They want a life for you that mirrors their own, and when it doesn't, they want to attribute to you the feelings they think they would have if your life was theirs. It is okay to not give it to them. It's okay to smile, wish them well, and walk away. I have loved, if I'm being honest. I love you. But my love exists on its own, wants nothing more than to exist unknown. I am so good at loving that you may not even realize how deeply I feel it. My love could enter a room and go unnoticed. I would prefer to enter a room and go unnoticed, or just at the very least, always be free to leave. I don't understand a love that feels like metal, feels like bars. I don't understand how common it is for people's breathing to change in the face of love as if there is a weight. I so often feel weight. I so often feel a desire to be available, let others in as they expect to be let in, stay still and small and safe. I know that historically a woman always had more rights without a man, and I don't want to believe that for myself because I have known true kings, but somehow I have always come up short. I know and believe myself to be worthy of love. But I also know myself to be worthy of walking away, keeping myself warm at night, flying to Mexico, getting lucky in the bathroom of the bar on Yates Street. I have known many men who told me I make them better, but I never applied for the job. I want only love and betterment for you, but I can't be the one that carries you to it. I have gotten very good at taking selfies, very good at staring at myself in the mirror, very good at exposing my own cracks. I had to. There's very little point in lying anymore when you're the only one in the room. I am a woman alone. A woman only. I am a woman lonely. Thank you. Historically, what I've done is I've written a new set. I've come out, I've performed it. I've gone back to my cave. I've waited another year. I've written a new set. I've come out and performed it. And that's not happening as frequently for me these days. So I'm drawing on poems over the span of about 10 years. Some haven't ever been performed tonight. And some of it can be hard. Some of it can be hard going back to something you wrote when you were in a much different time and place. Some of them I couldn't bring out tonight, but some of them I can. I am so sick of all that everyone is talking about, and yet I still find myself wanting to be a part of the conversation, wanting to contribute, add, participate. I can't stand all the chit-chat, and yet I replay the scripts over and over as I lie in bed at night pretending to try and fall asleep. After a show, a man once told me, you're so much deeper in your poems than when you speak. Funny. That sure shut me up. If you want me to hesitate before I ever speak again, then please go ahead and tell me what you think of me. I yearn for a sky I can't see from where I stand. One I forget about, and then when I catch, assume must be temporary. There's an orange and a smoke and a dust on the other side of this blue. I've seen it. I didn't know that it wasn't universal. I want wide open. I want deep breaths. I want ribs of quiet. We've gotten so used to so much noise, we don't even notice that we can't hear the stars anymore. I am exhausted to the point that I can't sleep. When it's time to turn in, when it's time to fall, I stay standing. I count keeps, what I thought would be forevers. Grandmother's quilts, crops burning, secret Santas. I prepare myself for the day I attend my last family funeral. I refuse to be caught off guard by my lack of control. This you will not take from me. I am in charge here. Am I the last generation who will know falling in love at Pizza Hut? I listen to music about states I only know from fairy tales in the hopes I either nod off or wake up. It will come as no surprise that I want to be cool too. It's just that even now, it still doesn't feel warm enough. Wrapping sweaters around myself, I'll admit it because it's safe. I do want what everyone else wants. I just can't be someone else if I get it. I am sure you too are bored of the poem I have been writing for 20 years. I even more so, I swear it. But I heard something, or a couple somethings the other night. It may not satisfy you. Live well anyways. Marching orders, if there ever were any, live well anyways. Despite it all, live well. I wonder sometimes if the man I left sends prayers of gratitude up as I do for the ones that left. What I am saying is I wonder if I am a part of someone's prayers. I am praying. I will be a part of someone's prayers. You can be right and still scared. You can be scared and still brave. You can be brave and be still. Be still. I say it over and over again, be still. How well I hear it depends on how much noise I have accepted that days. I use both earplugs and an eye mask at night. Sexiness long well and gone. But even with those protections in place, I jump when I hear the street traffic, when a door opens too close, when the winds shift. It's a life of vigilance, swimming against the stream, and I am jumpy as hell. It shouldn't hurt like this, protecting oneself, and yet. Only those who don't spend as much time alone as me tell me, there's a difference between being lonely and alone. Oh? I am 35. I'm not. I have fucked, fought, and flown for my years, for my lines, and for my legs. There are veins coursing through this life that I haven't yet been ready to review. What they will have to tell me, I have been comfortable not knowing thus far. I wish I had known how to be a better teacher. To those who didn't know they were missing an important lesson, I wish my mother knew she had won. I wish softness felt just the teensy bit less hard on the journey. It's true that being kind comes back around, but it can feel like one hell of a long track en route. I was nice to someone once when I was 10 years old, and I think I felt that nudge on my shoulder yesterday. I could say I think these are the start of my memoirs, but what I mean is I think I'm finally on the other side of a lesson. Who knew that the first poem I wrote again after the Great Resignation at the start of the New World Order would be one of endings? Who knew why I had been eating like I had for all those years? Was I starving? Yes. But was I also deeply afraid of hunger? Also, yes. I exist, I tell myself again and again. I exist, I exist. I am still lonely and alone. I am still right and brave. I am still afraid. I am still. The nerves are real, no matter how many times you do it. I'm so glad you guys are here. I was one of the messy ones, for sure. Drunk, sober, work, parties. My feelings were always spilling out of me. I don't remember any explicit messaging, but the shame, the anger, the blame had to come from somewhere. My clothes were always taking measurement, for sure. Too small, too big, cover up, or wrap it tighter. And then I didn't implode, no, but it wasn't just me in the room anymore. Now there were meetings. Now I had involved others. And hella, unfortunately for me, there weren't any more cities to move to. When I made art for the last time, when I fucked up, when I overshared, I course corrected like a mother, like the perfectionist my father raised me to be. I buttoned up, ordered salads, renounced sex. Eat, pray, love? This was its opposite. From this vantage point, of course that relationship makes sense. I couldn't be touched, I couldn't be known, I couldn't commune. So I found someone who made all of that possible, and it looked like growth. I lost weight, made more money, moved out of the attic and into a respectable one-bedroom. I did what 30-year-old women who publicly flailed for years and years should do. I grew up. But I grew up from the outside in. It's possible that some would still say I'm overly vulnerable, highly emotional. I hate to break it to you, but now nothing gets out without senior management's approval. Now, my tears are only ever fulfilling contractual obligations. My vulnerability is executed with precision, which I think reduces the word to simply able. I am able. I am stable. Am I formidable? Well, I'm formed. And this formation was designed to make me immune to criticism, but that seems to be the only thing I'm still able to feel. Others' words have become my very own weapons of mass destruction. However you want to describe it, minimalism, wellness, mindfulness, there is so much less here than there was. I have lost my capacity to spill, misplaced it in the Great Purge. That's the only way I can explain the pool of butter that once took up this body and what it is now. I seem to have drizzled it over the overpriced gourmet bag of popcorn I consumed the other night while binging the latest season of Love is a Blind Jersey Island of Below Deck Bachelors in Paradise. I want to remember, to relearn. When my favorite color was still yellow, I miss being soft. I miss knowing how to be held. Many years ago, I coated myself in candy, then sat very still while it hardened. I wanted sweetness, but I needed a shell. There's cat hair stuck to me in places, sure, but for a number of years, it did the trick. And now, I'm ready to stretch, to crack, to exchange the shine of veneer for the unfiltered face of mourning. I want to know softness again. I got very far on very little fuel as a result of digging deep, giving little, and conserving my energy. And now, I want a pair of hands reaching for me during the day. I want to be fed by someone else's cooking from time to time. I got to where I am by tuning in, turning out, and buckling down. I know why I did it. I see what the other side of the mountain looks like. I get it. And now, I want otherwise. I have found my tribe. I have been nourished on Thanksgivings and birthdays by loves that don't see all of my intolerances as a burden. I have been facing the wrong direction all this time, playing this sick little game with myself where I reach for those with no history of being there. I understand why it had to be how it was. I get it now. And now, finally, I am strong enough, I am safe enough, and I'm whole enough to come undone and it be clean. Evolving and letting people see you evolve. That's not fun. I prefer to move and reinvent myself, but I'm learning that I have to stand still. And so I've been performing since I was 25. And there's a time limit on spoken word. Like most people age out, and it's hard to know if you just haven't grown up or if you're really committed to doing something you love or what you're supposed to be doing when everyone stops doing what we were all doing together. At 16, when I had my heart broken, I switched schools. At 21, when the same thing happened, I left town. Last year, when my cat died, I switched apartments. I've never had to know new codes of conduct, new routes home, empty water bowls. At 26, I moved into my car so I could touch everything I owned at all times. There were no forgotten pockets, no boxes in storage, no unused closet space. There is intimacy in possession even when it's unintended, unstated, even when its sole purpose is to ward off. I have never had to become intimate with space, never found my hands empty when the leaving happened. When I found myself in the unfamiliar time of being left and the space of absence, all I could do was take surveys, measure. How much space between then and now? How much distance between me then and me now? How many steps difference are the points where I had control and the points where I did not? If I walked backwards then and backwards now, how many meters before I would bump into myself? Will the proposed project, proposed use of space, fit within the space determined? I measured, I recorded, I remained impassive. All I was a tech, a laborer, a recorder of data. There were inconceivable amounts of space, and even the barely measurable. Between body and body, between sides of the bed, between seeing and not, there were worlds. On my lunch breaks, I was at a loss, by which I mean all of my grab bars had disappeared and all of the places my footholds had been were now empty, by which I mean I was untethered, by which I mean I should have hit the ground, by which I mean open eyes became a limitation, by which I mean I was freed. An ending, when things fall apart, a leaving, when I stopped, when I allowed, there was space. By not fighting, I found peace. Through peace, I was left. By being left, all that wasn't right was shown. Through revelation, I stopped needing to see. Through blindness, my vision was corrected. Through correction, I admitted errors. By admission, I let go. By going, I came home. By coming home, I was. And I am. So what I'm saying is I'm writing a lot about aging. That's what I'm getting at. Oh, I will plug myself. I do have 2 books for sale. I have a book of poems, and I have a book of personal essays. I once Googled the title of my book. I really thought it would be easier than this, and I got one hit of this and 50 million of the US president saying, I really thought it would be easier than this. So great minds.
Which came up first?
Yeah, not me. Not me. It has taken a lot of time to create this, to become this version of whole, to undo all that was here previous. It wasn't easy. It has taken years of concentration and manual labor. I'm no Gaga. Wasn't born this way. Didn't become this way smoothly or naturally. It was hard time. It was hard. It was time. I'm exhausted. And that exhaustion is a necessary part of what this is. The exhaustion from the overanalysis, the tough questions, the never letting anything go, the perpetual picking and the never relenting, the demands and excessive nature, the thrill-seeking and adrenaline chasing. It was all a requisite. I have made it incredibly hard on those who tried to love me, on those I've tried to love. Always reaching and demanding for more, for greatness, for excellence. Accepting what is not something I am known for, is not something I am good at, and I can't apologize for it anymore. I swear, I don't want to make you into something you are not interested in being, but if you are not coming to me, wholly formed, or at least in the process of becoming, I cannot make you whole. I cannot accept that as my role anymore. I have made myself a supporting character in the lives of others for so long. It's called being young, being female, being pleasant. I cannot do your work or give you the reason to pick up the pen, and you need not show it. The evidence will be obvious. I am not your life coach. Even though I've made a living making others' dreams come true, I cannot be the reason you decide to seek. I cannot be your catalyst or your genesis. I am not asking you to rise to my level. I'm just explaining the fucking distance. The air appears great, but I make no judgment as to what you choose to inhale. I know why you want to be with me. I also know how I make it impossible. Even though I'm awesome, I'm not easy. Don't let the poems fool you. I am a mental illness. I am only discord and discomfort, waking up, compelled to dig for no other reason than that there's ground. No ground to get anywhere, or that there's anywhere to get, but with no encouragement, you dig. Still, you dig. To stop would be the end. It's a constant grind. Winds reduced to dirt under fingernails, ripped cuticles, saltwater tributaries on cotton pillowcases. Striving is the basis of this life I have created. Growing claws just to be able to remap the lines on my face. I know that time after time, I am the one that gets away. I take no pride in it. It was never the intention. Self-preservation or not, daddy issues or not, the illusion was real. The Tinder pic really was that good. But remember the day-to-day? How hard I made it? The bio was the magic trick and you swiped right. I have gone too far and made it too easy to keep going. Being with you has got to be better than being alone. Because as difficult as it is and however hard we both try to deny it, we both know that being with me, I mean, it's actually pretty dope. Well, this is my last poem. This was just phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for letting me be here. My parents are here, just so you know. Okay, this poem is called Good. Perfect was the goal. Using all variables, complaints, and fingers, I mastered edge softening, corner rounding, and palette neutralizing. To speak of my own brilliance isn't vanity, and I toned mine down to blend. My comfort was based on that of everyone else, and I thought theirs was based on mine being not, so I became their weather vane. To protect everyone from my offenses, I edited. I cut and pasted together a palatable personality of first jokes, first goes, and soft gazes. I played beige and determinedly kept my closets under wraps. I thought I could be just enough to go unnoticed. Once, during a mediation, a boss told me, "If you stand on the highway long enough, you're going to get hit." He was telling me I didn't belong and that was a good thing. Become like them and you'll survive, he was telling me. Become like them and you'll become like them, he was telling me. Choose carefully what you become. In the end, he never made me choose. He moved me away from the bully, sent me to work for a kind. I was very young. I didn't see what he saw. Sometimes the world sends us protectors who have lived enough to know not to be threatened by our sparkle. That was the first workplace of mine where everyone was an adult and money the only reason we went. There were far fewer shadows lurking there. The darkness was in the open. When I left, I took a job in the light, a job in the clouds, a job where the president would pray and praise women for getting on their knees. Not all angels are good, I learned. I was never a wallflower, not really. Before someone noticed me enough to break things, I naturally stood out. I was the daughter of a known, which made me a known by default, but I would have been regardless. Up until then, I lived as if it was natural to shine. I didn't know that some people find some lights too loud when they want to. I've had fingers pointed that weren't fair, false accusations shot with precision to prolong the pain. I've seen cruelty lodged with laser focus across a boardroom table. And I have seen sparks flicker and fade. When the bully succeeds, it is not their success story, but the tale of others failing. I thought I could spread the gospel of the light. I thought I could bring others with me, but it turns out most don't want to let go of their dark. I had to slow my own progress to guide, and the landmarks, though once holy, now sold postcards. Even a baptism can be bought, and I had failed. I could not deliver those asking. Past lovers, too, have taken my light for granted, not realizing the effort that was keeping us afloat, and I could not sustain us. When it starts, the moment when course correction is possible is the span of a breath, and once missed, gone. I grabbed mine like a Navy SEAL, being flung from the water by both the torque of the boat and strength of my own will. There were two of us saving me, but only one of us could be seen. I have left hands. I have disappointed. I have not saved. It was never a decision. Instinct to breathe just kicks in at a certain point. When I realized I care more about my own flourish than the maintenance of others, I was afraid of the penalties. This is not how good women act. When I realized that getting to the bottom of myself was the point and not keeping others company as they bobbed, I worried about the sanctions. I was afraid of being seen standing alone, afraid of the cafeteria without a second, but I no longer wanted a commitment to misery as my hall pass. As I started to fill out my own form, I was claimed. As I met my own edges, my outline became more severe. As I became more and more unencumbered, I noticed less and less the hands that stretched towards me. We are so proud of our martyrs, of our specials that die young. I do not offer the comforting image of a suffering woman dressed in white. There is dirt on my face. I have bled to create this. I have sweat to become this. I let go to save myself. I left to become. I became. And I am good. Thank you so much.